Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the four-card fights for UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the featherweight division, Tukhugov versus Elvis Brenner. How I see this one right here is I just thought I think Elvis Brenner is very submission reliant. Don't really see no notable striking from him. If anything, I think Tukhugov is a better overall fighter. I feel like he could beat him in the striking. I feel like he could beat him in the grappling. And Tukhugov has never had really any issues with submission grapplers, and he has been in with some solid submission grapplers and never really been in any threat or any trouble that I have seen him fight as far as in the UFC. I know if in the gym or some earlier fights, maybe his first, second, third, fourth, some fight way back when, but as far as UFC, never saw him in any real threat in the grappling department, and he's been in there with some solid guys, credentialed guys. And yeah, Elvis Brenner's really just bringing BJJ. That's his biggest thing. And yeah, I think Tukhugov is solid there. And even say miraculous knockout or something crazy like that. Tukhugov has shown a pretty sturdy chin. I don't think he's really been wobbled, rocked, or anything like that. I think he's been stung a couple times, but never like noticeably on skates. So the guy has a sturdy and he got a big long head and short limbs. So his head, he only got those big long heads. His head is durable. So unless you're like some real big heavy hitter or somebody who just get real lucky, I don't think he's getting knocked out anytime soon. Especially not by no Elvis Brenner. So Brenner's really just relying on a submission, and I think that's like even not the best opportunity right there. So I think Tukhugov can just take him down, control him, maybe even finish him, to be honest. But I'm gonna say decision for Tukhugov. Beat him everywhere. He beats him everywhere, takes him down, controls him, and neutralizes his submissions. Beat him to a decision. So in this one, I have Tukhugov via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, Bilder versus Shane Young. And how I see this one right here is, I think who has the biggest edge, I think that's Bilder. I also think he's riding better momentum. Shane Young has not impressed me. And I also see him get dominated in grappling by his own teammate, Volkanovski, like early on in both of their UFC careers. Like flat out dominated. And it's not drawing a comparison too much, but I just feel like he has not really shown that area, really any improvement in that game. Nobody he's fought recently has really looked to test that area that much against Shane Young. And I feel like he's made some improvements, but I still feel like that's a disposable area for him and that Bilder could take advantage of. And as far as on the striking, I feel like Shane Young Shane Young has been underperforming, not looking the best. And it's not a guy you could get behind. So I'm liking Bilder's chances to mix up, get this to the ground. I think he'll have the biggest edge in this fight. It won't be the striking, it'll be the grappling. I think Bilder will get it to his ground, will be able to mix it up, get Shane Young to overcommit, maybe get a little bit over emotional like he tends to do, make a mistake, drag him to the mat, probably late first round, just bust him up a little bit, wear on him, probably, fill him out for what submissions he's open for or what opportunities he's open for. The second round, probably have him a little bit worn down, a little bit demoralized, gets him to the ground easier in that second round, then taps him out around that that 2 minute, 2 minutes and 50 second mark around of the second round. So in this fight, I have Bilder via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's strawweight division, Lookboonme versus Elise Reed. And what advantage does Elise Reed have in this fight? Really, all she does is have is height and maybe a bit of size, but she's not really the most physically imposing woman to begin with. So she got length. That's about it. Striking wise, grappling wise, I think Lookboonme is clears her in every single area outside of height and length. And Lookboonme gives up height and length to every single woman and she fights. So ain't gonna be nothing new. I think Lookboonme just picks her apart on the feet. Even probably in the clinch, being a shorter one, she probably still is able to just pull her down to her level and just ragdoll her, hit little tie sweeps on her and just really dominate Elise Reed out there. I think she's gonna put on a striking clinic over Elise Reed. Do I think she finishes? Not really. I don't think Lookboonme has really been able to show the ability to finish in the UFC. Maybe outside the UFC, maybe if they added a atomweight weight class for a woman, then maybe she would get finishes. But I think at this weight class, she's going to be a decisionator. But I think she's going to pick her apart for the better part of 3 rounds, the better part of 15 minutes, and get her hand raised without controversy. So in this one, I have Lookboonme via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, the men's featherweight division. Well, 3 of these 4 fights were men's featherweights. I don't know why I said man's featherweight, but it is what it is. Featherweight division, Jenkins versus Shainis, and how I see this one right here. I think these guys match up pretty well. I just think it comes down to a match where one guy just better than another guy. I don't think they too far apart as far as styles, just like simply one guy is better. Y'all got the same make and model of car, But one guy's like a luxury brand, the other guy's like, well, I don't know, because wouldn't a luxury brand be less tough than a regular brand? But value wise, got a luxury brand. You got a guy who's like off the no, a used car, a luxury brand versus a used car that's not luxury, like a civilian, standard, suburban. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And Jack Jenkins is the one, the luxury, the deluxe one. Jack Jenkins like brings a lot of the same stuff Don Shainis brings, except striking wise, he got power. Technique wise, he's more technical. Grappling, I think every area he got him covered. And like I say, I feel like he could take this fight wherever he wants to take it. I don't think he finishes Don Shainis, but I do think he beats him pretty clear and just like I said, just better. Like they match up pretty well. Jack Jenkins is just better. Fall into the same category, but Jack Jenkins is just better. So in this one, I got Jack Jenkins via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Jamie Mullarkey versus Francisco Prado. And how I see this one right here, I'm going Jamie Mullarkey. Francisco Prado, I'm just not really saying that from him. He's 20 years old. He's from Argentina. He's fought, well, I think all his fights have been against Argentinians, but don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, I don't think he's fought any relevant competition. I don't think he's shown any relevant skill that would say, oh my gosh, this guy, sign him to the UFC right now. He's 20, he's babyface, untested, fought in a region that's not developed yet. Like, it's no insult to Argentina or their MMA scene. It's just the reality. Y'all have not developed y'all MMA scene. You got a 20-year-old coming here. He's jumping way ahead of himself to get in the UFC. Matter of fact, he should at least went to the Contender Series or something, or Dana White is looking for a fight or something. And probably even then, give him like 2 more years, 3 more years to develop. He's only 20 years old. And like I said, you see the skills there, but obviously, like, you're not seeing him on a high level yet. You're seeing the things. But even then, I'm not, even what I'm saying for right now, I'm trying to foreshadow the kid's career. I'm not saying the guy, oh, this guy going to go on and be a stud. I'm not saying stud from him. I'm saying he could be okay. He could hold his own in the UFC in the future. Right now, I just don't see a guy that belongs to be in the UFC. I don't see it. I think Jamie Mullarkey is going to be too skilled for him. I think he covers him in every area. And I think he's going to put him away second round. And I think he's going to overwhelm him, school him in the striking, school him in the grappling, and school him overall. Just give him a history lesson. Just give him a lesson. Probably going to get better from it, as they typically do. It's like fighters typically do. They go in there, they jump way ahead of themselves, and they learn, this is where I'm currently at, and I'm going to get better. Or, jumping ahead, they get broken, and they don't never be the same. But only 20, he'll bounce back. But I definitely think he takes L here. So, yeah, Mullarkey just too much. So, in this fight, I got Jamie Mullarkey via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Clayton Rodrigues versus Shannon Ross. And high from right here is I'm going Clayton Rodrigues to beat Shannon Ross in very high confidence, to be honest. Shannon Ross, I don't really see no notable skill from him. He seemed pretty one-dimensional and not really great in any area at all. He's tough. That's about all he got going for me. Like I say, he's well-trained, not very talented, not very skilled, but well-trained. And he's not just a guy that just don't respect the craft, but severely lacking in talent and severely lacking in skill. But again, no lack of grit and will and desire. But other areas definitely need a lot of improvement and probably won't get that. I just feel like Clayton Rodrigues has him covered in every single area of the game. I feel like Clayton Rodrigues is going to pick him apart on the feet, mix it up, level change, drag him to the mat, pound him out on the mat, transitions, flatten him out, just really just dominate him in every aspect of this fight. And then in the second round, after wearing him down, going to put the knife in the cake and tap him out second round, or the knife in the steak, whatever you want to call it. So in this fight, I got Clayton Rodrigues via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Joshua Culibao versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. So I see this one right here, and I think this is a very tight matchup. I think Culibao is the more well-rounded fighter, but I think Baghdasaryan should be able to shut down his takedowns and not really too worried about his wrestling, grappling, anything like that. Culibao is more well-rounded, but as far as can he effectively really implement that, I don't think so. And then on the feet, Culibao feels is the better boxer, I feel. But I think Melsik Baghdasaryan is the better, I guess, kickboxer. I think he'll do a good job to implement the kicks to throw off Culibao's jab, throw off his timing, inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks, and just take away his planting foot, using movement to open up shots to the body and body kicks to the body. Well, really body kicks to the body. That's what I'm saying. He can open up lanes to the body kick and open up lanes for head kicks and stuff. It's really looked to take away his mobility And he also used front kicks as well to keep Culibao at kicking range, where Baghdasaryan should be favored to win the fight, or where he at the range that's best suited for him to thrive on the feet. But I definitely think Culibao will be game, looking to take those shots coming in, look to do damage. But I think Baghdasaryan will be the one who will make the better adjustments, so he can take his, get his advantage stylistically and fight the fight that will best benefit him. But I think Culibao will do a good job to try to cover that distance, but I think Baghdasaryan will do a better job to maintain that distance and also do a better job to take away Culibao's tools that will be necessary for him to thrive in this fight. But nonetheless, it's going to be a good close. Well, I'm not going to say close. It could be close, but as far as I say, I don't think it'll be all that close. It's going to be controversy. It's going to be close where every round is going to be hard fought. But I don't think it'll be close to where every fight round is like, oh my gosh, we don't know who won. I think Baghdasaryan's going to probably win at least 2 rounds clear. Maybe one real tight round that might go Culibao. But nonetheless, all the rounds going to be close and competitive. But I think Baghdasaryan will win at least 2 of those rounds very clear. Not very clear, but clear enough. So in this one, I got Melsik Baghdasaryan via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Tyson Pedro versus Modestas Bukauskas. And now this one right here is, I think Modestas Bukauskas is a very underrated fighter, but I don't think he's making the best decision by jumping back into UFC as quickly as he did after getting cut, by getting knocked out like twice, getting stopped twice. And then he, for 2 less than stellar guys in basically a regional level or below regional level league, got 2 wins. Now he's bouncing back in the UFC very soon. It's not like he's coming back in with the red carpet rolled out for him with a guy that stylistically he should beat. He's getting a very hard test in there. He's not coming back like, oh, give me the easy, I'll only come back for the easiest fight available. Give me 5 easy fights. Let me build myself up. Or he didn't say I'm gonna stay out of UFC for a year or two, another year or two, and build up 10 cans or 7 cans and maybe 3 decent dudes, and now I'm gonna come back in the UFC or something like that. He didn't do that. But nonetheless, I just feel like the combination of fighting a guy that's relatively around skill level or better, relatively, we don't know until they fight, but relatively around skill level or better is projected, and you're coming off, you're coming back very soon after leaving UFC. Also, he did take a big injury when he did leave the UFC because Khalil kicked his knee in, so took a lot of damage. And then it hasn't been that long since he left the UFC. He's rushing back, and that has never typically been a path for success. Nonetheless, when I look at this one, I feel like Pedro and him have similar length. I think Pedro's actually bigger and longer because Bukauskas can make middleweight. Pedro can't. Or maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I don't know. Maybe Bukauskas never made middleweight. But nonetheless, similar size. I think Pedro has the better hands. And I think he has the sturdier chin between the two. And he's riding the better momentum of the two. And I just feel like he's going to be able to touch Bukauskas from ranges that he usually doesn't get touched because he usually has, towering over a lot of his opponents, never really fighting people his same size. So I feel like Pedro should be able to meet him. Also, I think overall Pedro is the better fighter. I feel like Pedro's grappling is superior. I feel like his striking is superior. And I feel like he should be able to touch Bukauskas at ranges where he's not used to getting touched from. And I feel like his power, once he puts that power on the button of Bukauskas, I feel like he should be able to put his light out. And I'm going to say in the first round. So in this one, I got Tyson Pedro via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, in our first fight on the main card, Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. And how I see from right here is I got Alonzo Menifield. Jimmy Crute is the younger man, about nearly a decade, 9 years difference. I think 26 versus 35 or something like that. Yeah, I think that's spot on what it is. But 26 versus 35. But sometimes you get behind age, sometimes you don't. I feel like Menifield is one of the people you can't really just consider him your typical 35 or a year old or whatnot. I mean, age will come into a factor eventually, 40, 41, 42, unless you're like Yoel Romero. It's going to eventually come into effect, but it's not like Alonzo Menifield has had a long career of fighting since he was 7 years old or fighting since he was 18. I think he started fighting when he was 20s, mid-20s, maybe even later than that. And yeah, he hasn't really had necessarily that much malice. I guess he got one brutal knockout loss, but outside that, he hasn't really taken a whole lot of damage. Especially when he wins, there's not a whole lot of damage. And maybe the Devin Clark fight, that was pretty competitive, but most of his fights doesn't really take too much damage, and he doesn't really get hit too clean. Crute on the other side, he has took some damage. He got knocked. He's our only. I mean, he's nearly a decade younger, but he got knocked out brutally. He got his leg kicked out. And a lot of fights, he don't move that head. I don't think his head move ever been notable. One of his best attributes. He got a big long head that he don't know how to move. And a lot of fights, even against guys that's less than stellar, he be getting mopped up on the feet because he don't move that head. I mean, he be winning, but as far as they be landing clean combination, clean power shots on him, like because he don't know how to move that head. But again, the guy's only 25, 26 years old, something like that. So those improvements can be made, but I only go based off what I've seen. He's riding a 2-fight losing streak. Menifield riding like a 2-3 fight winning streak. Yes, Crute's younger. Yes, he's more well-rounded, but I feel like Menifield. Also, another thing about Crute, I feel like, he's more well-rounded. I feel like he definitely uses muscle in a lot of his, a lot of his style. He tries to impose his size on. He tries to pose when in the grappling. He tries to physically muscle you around. But I feel like Menifield is a bigger, stronger man, and I feel like that's gonna work. Yes, you might be more technical overall with your grappling, but a big part of your grappling is being physically strong. And a lot of guys you fight, you try to muscle around in these positions, you try to bully them. But Menifield will use those hips on him. He probably could just keep it on the feet, like to peel him off of him when he try to mix it up, and just look to, pick his shots on the feet, have the better defense between the two, and have the better power. And again, pick the better shots, better defense, find his ranges, pick the better shots, land them cleaner over Crute. I'm gonna say like a second round TKO. I feel like a very competitive fight. Crute trying to mix it up, not having the success he wants, but still controlling a bit by initiating takedowns, whether he gets them or not. Trying to hold him in his cage and, like I said, chain combos with takedown attempts. But eventually, I feel like Menifield's going to be able to find that space, probably around the second round, be able to peel him off of him, get some space in the center, tag Crute, rock him, then put him away second round. So in this fight, I have Alonzo Menifield via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. And I got to go Justin Tafa here. Can't go great confidence at all, very low confidence at anything, because neither of these guys have been super stellar. If anything, Parker Porter has been more consistent than Justin Tafa. But Justin Tafa is a young guy. He's big. And I feel like, I just feel like he's going to be able to find Porter, put him away. Maybe like first or second, like second round. I'm safe. I'm going to go first round TKO for Justin Tafa. I feel like he's going to be come in, make some adjustments, make some improvements, and be the opposing size and power on Porter. Probably rip some kicks to the body on Porter, open up bring his hands down and touch him up top. But Porter definitely is the more rounded fighter, definitely game. The only person who really made him truly look bad so far in the UFC has been Tom Aspinall. But then again, who else has he fought? He probably fought a collection of the worst guys in the UFC, like Sherman. Who else he fought? Parisian, Badat, like literally like three of the worst guys in the heavyweight division. So no insult to them, but that's what it is. But nonetheless, can't feel too confident about this fight at all. I'm just leaning youth and size and banking on. Well, I'm not banking nothing. I'm not putting no money on this, but I'm predicting that the younger guy will be able to make the adjustments, come in and put away the older guy the guy that's like older by a decade. But not with no confidence, no trust in this one. So in this one, I got Justin Tafa via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Randy Brown versus Jack Della Maddalena, and the high season one right here is very, very competitive fight. We look at the track record right now, you probably say, oh, Jack Della Maddalena should, not like the track record, but like you look at the momentum and kind of look into the fights. You can say, oh, look into the storytelling. Maddalena easily, basically, but I'm not super confident in this pick, but I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena. It's really more so because Randy Brown, he just has not had that real clean performance just yet, as far as on his recent streak. All these wins have come with grit. Like, I think maybe one win was a clean, they shut down decision. But Chaos Williams, very tough fight. He got dropped in, I think, or hurt. I can't really recall, but I definitely know he got hurt. I think it was definitely a drop. It was either hurt or drop, but he got significantly hurt in that fight. I know that. And it was a close fight that he won. Then he fought Trinado. That should have been his come out performance. He should have went out there, picked up Trinado out. He should have picked apart Trinado on the feet. And probably even tapped Trinado out. Like, that should have been his come out performance. You got like a whole foot over the guy. You got a whole decade of youth over that guy. Like whole decade of youth, whole decade of youth, basically. You got a whole like 12-inch reach advantage over dude. You got a whole like foot of height over dude. And you fought him to a close decision. That's not a good look. So I can't really get behind Randy Brown. That's really the biggest thing making me lean against Randy Brown. I know stylistically this is a matchup where Randy Brown can be that good dog pick, but the fact that he lost, I mean not lost, the fact that he even well, really the Trinaldo fight, that's the most standout. I know KS Williams, he just awkward and lanky, and he got power, and he's explosive, and he's younger. So that's kind of understandable. But the Trinaldo fight should have been a statement performance. Not even a come out, should have been a statement performance, but it was not. And I feel like Jack Della Maddalena, yes, he's in that like tree chopper, like what Luke did against Brown by taking away his legs, which took away his jab and made him vulnerable, took away his mobility. So that's definitely gonna make it harder. But I feel like Jack Della Maddalena could make this a tight matchup, similar to some of the other tight matches that Brown has been having. Land the heavier shots, maybe land some damage. I don't think he puts Brown away, but I definitely think the damage is the separating factor that allows Jack Della Maddalena to get the nod from the judges. But I think this is a very competitive fight. Definitely a scrappy fight. Might even end up being the fight of the night potentially. But I think Jack Della Maddalena's damage and power will be the difference here. So in this one, I got Jack Della Maddalena via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the featherweight division for the undisputed featherweight title. Well, not undisputed, the interim featherweight title, because Volk still got the undisputed title. We got Yair Rodrigues versus Josh Emmett. And how this one right here is, I think this will be a very competitive fight. There's definitely angles for both guys here, but I gotta go Yair Rodrigues. I feel like Josh Emmett has the tools, but I feel like he'll implement them. I feel like he'll engage in the brawl too much against Yair Rodrigues. And I don't feel like he has stylistically ever been a guy to look to take you down and control you for 5 rounds or 2 rounds or even a round. He has never been that guy as far as what I've seen. He might mix it up at times, but it's never been his forte to be a blanket. He'll go out there, maybe mix a couple takedowns in, but definitely at all times looking to take your head off. And I think that reliance to land that power and maybe look to load up on one hand or the one side a lot will end up being backfire on him. I feel like Yair Rodrigues, we will catch him loading up with body kicks. Matter of fact, I think Yair, I know probably exactly what Yair probably gonna do. Probably look to load up that, load up the side of his power hand. Touch him up top with some high kicks, so he had to bring the hand up a bit. I know Yair is so fast, so explosive. Like he get that kick up so fast, probably faster than Emmett could do a jab. Just touch him up top, so he had to keep blocking the finish, so he can't really commit to that power side, that power punch. Then when he started to fake that, he started to slip some kicks underneath the elbow to the rib, blast the legs, get him circling right to a spinning back kick to the body. It's really mixing up and exploiting Josh Emmett's tendencies and maybe reliance on some of his power as far as on the feet. But I think Josh Emmett will definitely game. He'll definitely go for takedowns, but I don't think he'll go for them consistently enough. On the feet as far as power shots and the striking, I feel like Josh Emmett's overcommitting to powers and overhands at times will lead to him leaning to head kicks, leaning to flying knees. I think it's going to be a very scrappy, competitive fight for sure. It ain't going to be no easy work on either end. No matter how you play this fight, it's going to be a very hard, competitive fight. But I think Yair Rodrigues is going to be too tricky, too long, too fast, too explosive. I think he also like the younger man by a good couple years, like 7, 8. Yeah, probably like 8, 7, or at least 5, at least half a decade he's younger than Josh Emmett, I think. And yeah, I just feel like Yair's gonna be to find those moments, and I think he's gonna be able to put away in the 3rd round. So yeah, this intercept, maybe him leaning into an overhand, maybe with a flying knee, reverse flying knee, maybe a spinning back kick, something like that. Just catch him leaning into the frame, and then perfectly timing it, catching him, dropping him, and finishing him off 3rd round. So in this one, I have Yair Rodrigues via 3rd round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in our main event for the undisputed pound-for-pound #1 title, and also for the undisputed lightweight title, we got Islam Makhachev, reigning lightweight champion, versus Alexander Volkanovski, reigning featherweight champion in the pound-for-pound #2. So number one, Volkanovski. Number 2, Makhachev. Makhachev is the lightweight champion, the reigning champion, the one whose belt is on the line, versus Volkanovski, who is number 1 in the reigning featherweight champion, coming up to trying to win 2 belts and really cement his legacy amongst the best. Maybe even look to climb and be the very best fighter, that pound fighter in MMA history. And this fight could definitely push him to be that, or push him in the right direction to be that. And I see him right here is I think Volkanovski is clearly the more well-rounded fighter. Clearly more well-rounded fighter. He will be undersized, but he has always been pretty much shorter than everybody he has fought. But I don't think it's just size that will be a big factor. I think it's the grappling, the size, and the technique of Makhachev. So that wrestling, the grappling. And Volkanovski could train with these people, train with that people, but I don't feel like they can I don't feel like they can imitate Makhachev to the degree they need to, give Volkanovski what he needs. And Volkanovski hasn't really fought no people that wanted to take him down. Everybody that could, give him a little bit of issue or a little bit of a concern in the grappling has caused him a little bit of issue. Like even against some Darren Elkins, he didn't have the easy success wrestling Elkins, and Elkins even dropped him at one point in that fight way back when. Chad Mendes dropped him like once in that fight and took him down 5 times. Sorry, took his back like twice. And that wasn't even the Chad Mendes that really was motivated. I feel like Chad Mendes came in there not really respecting him. Like, hey, this guy pretty much does everything I do, but he ain't me. I don't need to train for this. That's why I feel like Chad Mendes hopped off the couch. Like I think he did. It was a short notice. He just jumped in there, pretty much off the couch. It was giving Volkanovski to work. He didn't come in there off a full training camp. I think he was off a 3-year layoff or something like that. Then he came in full mile jury. Then probably shortly after that, maybe a month or two later, he hopped off the couch and fought Volkanovski. So it's not like it was Chad Mendes was fighting like once or twice a week or something. It was not that case. So, yeah. All I'm saying with this one, I feel like Volkanovski is the more rounded fighter. And if he can keep this on the feet, or maybe those grappling things he, like, the grappling work he's been putting in could maybe even factor him mixing in on the ground and having success, he could definitely win. But I got to go Islam Makhachev. I feel like his striking, it can be a bit sloppy. Makhachev striking can be, but at the end of the day, you got to remember that he's a grappler. He's a specialist. And those other tools, I feel, going to sharpen up. And also, now it's going to be Volkanovski this time having to worry about more than just one thing. Usually in Volkanovski fights, he really just worried about other people striking. Like, Ortega's wrestling is trash, and I think Ortega was even able to get takedowns on him, like 1 or 2 takedowns on him. The other people, like, outside of those people, like, I said, it's only been like maybe a few fights he's really had to worry about more than striking. Very little fights. Oh, he said Chancellor Jung is this, but Chancellor Jung's stiff and slow, so he had to worry too much about that. It wasn't no big issue. He probably trained it, but now you got a guy that's literally a specialist in grappling, bigger than you. And also, another thing, Volkanovski, the last time he really, one of the last times he fought at a higher weight class, I don't know, his only loss is at a higher weight class. So that's another thing to note. But yeah, I'm kind of just saying anything at this point. But as far as this fight, I feel basically Islam Makhachev will be able to give Volkanovski multiple threats he has not faced, especially at this level. He'll be able to mix up, go for takedowns, drag Volkanovski to the mat, hold him down. And I feel like Volkanovski, much prepared, Makhachev is going to just put him right back down. It's just going to be a different thing. Like, he could train for it, but once he's in there, I feel like it's not going to be with respect. And also on the feet, I feel like Volkanovski is actually the one who's probably underestimating Makhachev. I feel like Makhachev not underestimating him at all. He's saying he's small, saying all that, but best believe Makhachev is not underestimating Volkanovski at all. He's going to come in here very prepared, probably bigger, stronger than he's ever been, and even emphasize that size advantage over him and find ways to break down Volkanovski. And Volkanovski, a lot of his games is kicks. We look at his striking game, a lot of them inside kicks to throw us off the timing, the plant foot of his opponents. I feel like Makhachev is going to be an intercept there, probably fire down the middle. And also, another thing, like, I feel like Max Holloway could have exploited that more, but I think Volkanovski, even though Volkanovski didn't go for many takedowns against Max Holloway, I feel like that was always in the back, say, like, this guy's kicking my leg. And the moment I try to adjust and stuff or overcommit or try to lean in, he's going to level change and take me down, whereas Makhachev ain't worried at all about Volkanovski's wrestling. So it's gonna be this time, like, Volkanovski's gonna be the one worried about Makhachev's grappling, which is gonna open up the striking for Makhachev. So now this time you're not you're not the guy that's, I guess, the grappling threat. You're not the bigger grappling threat for once in your career, or at least for the second time in your career, because Chad Mendes was the bigger grappling threat. But outside that, this is the second time and the biggest time where you will not be the grappling threat. So yeah, I feel like that's open shots down the middle, and we've even seen Ortega fire down the middle and catch him and drop him, which initiated with that mount into that guillotine. That happened to you against. Also, I think with the same combination, he knocked Trinado out. Makhachev did. So I feel like he'll be able to land that shot down the middle, that 1-2 him down the middle when he's trying to do these little inside leg kicks. And like I said, he could overcommit to some of these shots or commit more to these shots. He's not worried about Volkanovski level change and try and duck under, take him down. He probably will reverse it, just flipping right on his head. Yeah, that's like Makhachev gonna be more comfortable. He's gonna be let his hands go, and Volkanovski's gonna probably be thinking too much about the grappling especially when Makhachev is constantly imposing it and threatening with it. I think Makhachev's going to use that as a tool to open up shots on the feet. And then when Volkanovski starts to get tagged and wear some damage on the feet or start to bite on the level changes, the fakes of Makhachev, I feel like Makhachev can start to have him in his wheelhouse, start to mix up the strikes with the takedowns, be able to start to oppose his will on him and slowly break him down, drag him down, latch onto him, wear him down over the course of the fight. I think he taps him out third round. So in this fight, I have Islam Makhachev via third round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for the 4 Carter fights for UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. And as always, thanks for watching.